What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I hope you are doing well today. We're going to be taking a look at some of the various comments and posts that were inside of the Hair System Reddit over the past month or so. It's been a while since I've been on here, and I need to get back to honestly maintaining it, moderating it, and making sure that the right type of content is going in here. There's been a whole lot of stuff that needs to get corrected, so I apologize about that. But as I said, I'm back, I'm making videos, all that fun stuff. So let's just jump into it, shall we? All right, so this one is pretty simple, right? How likely the nightmare can happen. Or what this guy is asking about is essentially, have you ever had a hairline open or a side open, basically flap open, so that way people can see that, well, you're wearing something on your head. This right here, I've never had that happen. All of the CrossFit that I've done, all of the like riding on motorcycles, all this kind of stuff that I've done, never ever once had this happen to me. Yes, there are times where my hair system is looser, meaning that, after I sweat a lot or if I'm 10 days in, it's definitely a little looser. But the thing is, you get to learn like where your system is at. And if you're planning to do something crazy, like do BJJ, jujitsu, something like that, chances are you're probably not going to wait 2 weeks till your hair system is super loose to go do that. So that's really the only consideration that I bring, front of mind for people, is just have an awareness of how loose or, how good your bond is at the current moment. And it does take a little bit of time to figure out, but it's not that much work. So let's just jump into the next question, shall we? All right, this one right here comes from Rayboy94. It says, I just got a hair system in LA. I'm mixed. My hair is brown. I was given more of an ethnic hairpiece, which I wanted, but it's black and looks bad on me. I was informed this will lighten up after being washed for the first time. Is this true? If not, how can I go about dyeing it? It is real hair. Thanks in advance. So honestly, guys, this one really grinds my gears, because here's the thing. When you first get a hair system, it should be right on the money. If you're going especially to a professional, it needs to be right. There should be no problems when it comes to color, when it comes to the density, any of this kind of stuff. So it's even worse because this guy, the system that he's getting, right, is darker than his natural hair. It is much harder to make your hair lighter than it is to go darker. Either way, it should be perfectly spot on if they did a proper color match. But because it's black and his hair is probably a dark brown, is going to be very, very tough to get the right color for him. And on top of that, when they say that it will lighten up after the first wash, that's just not true. Your hair does lighten, it does change color, it does lighten up over time. However, right, that's because of oxidation from the sun. They shouldn't have to rely on that, and it's also not necessarily reliable that you're going to get exactly your right hair color when you go about waiting for, waiting for the hair to bleach out by, sun exposure. So with this right here, they're definitely now providing good service. They probably got a bad hair system, or they got one that's kind of inappropriate for this guy, and they're trying to pawn it off on him. So this right here, if you ever see this in your life, this is not an okay thing, not something that you should allow. Speak up, speak loud. You're paying a lot of money to have your hair system installed and potentially bought from somewhere. Speak up about it. Don't allow yourself to be steamrolled by a company that's not doing you right. All right, this one comes in from J.S. McCraw. It says, told my close friend of 2 years about my hair system tonight, and she had no idea. It goes on to say, she knew me for a year when I had a comb over. I was convinced she knew I wore a system from the first time she saw me with it, since the color was wrong and it was way thicker than my natural hair. Never addressed it because I figured we were both aware of it, and it was cool. He goes on to say, she had no clue the whole time, guys. It blows my mind to think people who knew us before the system and see us regularly can have no idea. This just goes to show that people really pay so little attention to us, how we look at things that we're wearing. Obviously, there's this phenomenon in psychology called the spotlight effect, where we think that essentially people see everything about us and recognize everything about us, when in reality they know really nothing about us and what we're wearing, what we're dressed as, all this kind of stuff. And this is just case in point. I've been preaching this on the channel for 2, 3, 4, I don't even know, 3.5 years now. How when I first got a hair system, people had no clue whatsoever. I went to the gym, the people that I saw regularly, and they said, did you get a haircut? Did you dye your hair? It looks a little different. That was all that they said, and all they continued to say. There's people that I knew that saw me with very little hair, that saw me after the fact, and they're like, wow, you just look really good. Like, what's going on? And I'm like, just changes, growing, personal growth, all that kind of fun stuff. So, here's the thing, right? Like, if you guys go out there and make this change, most people are not going to actually even be aware of the changes that you're making. It's just the way it is. And, you know, you can be insecure about it, or you can just go out there and take advantage of the fact people don't notice shit. All right, here's another question. How do I keep my hair system from riding back while I sleep? So this one right here kind of comes for a couple different things. Number one, if you're using a regular pillowcase, not a silk pillowcase, you're creating extra friction on your hair system, which means it is going to move more, especially as it gets a little bit, you know, weaker of a bond. So I definitely recommend you get a silk pillowcase. You're not going to have these same problems. Now, as if you're going 2, 3, 4 weeks, it's possible that all of the pressure, all the rolling around that you do while you're sleeping is going to have an effect like this on your hair system, where it might scrunch up a little bit. I've had this happen before where I go an extra long time, and it's one of the reasons why I just don't try to push it. You know, I go maybe 7 to 10 days at max, and that's good for me. So, you know, there's not much you can do. I mean, you could potentially kind of like fold up your hair system, especially in the back, remove some of the moisture. You could put some extra scalp protector on. Sometimes that's something that I do if I can get the tape on the hair system side and I can actually like wash my scalp area, get rid of all of like the sweat, the residue, any of that kind of stuff. You can use some scalp protector to basically get a nice solid bond again for a couple days. That's a pro tip that I do use, so you can give that a try. But you know, I just recommend don't go longer than you need to. If you get good at replacing your hair system, and if you don't do it every like 2 to 3 weeks, but instead every week, it is really fast to reinstall it. I can do it in a little over an hour now. Okay, so this one right here I love. Hey guys, how many of you in the 18 to 24 range wear a hair system? When it's time to tell the males, females you like, how do they react? Do you have any rejection? I'm going to make a full video on this right here, because for so many guys, they're worried about attraction. They're worried about, you know, finding a partner. They're worried about telling a partner. I'm going to make another video about this and, you know, my recent experiences, because, you know, I mean, I have gone on dates. I'm obviously not in a committed relationship anymore, and you know, that's his own whole story. But you know, I've had more recent experiences with this that I got to share with you guys. So we'll go back into this in a future one. Just want to seed that, and a little wink wink nudge nudge about what's coming in the future. Okay, so let's look at this last one. This is the last one we're going to do, and then after I'm going to wrap up this video, make it short and sweet and lovely. So let's take a look at this last question. All right, so preference similar 237 says, hiding hair system from everyone, what should I do? The too long didn't read said, I want to use a partial hair system for the top and crown and exposing my original hairline, but hide from everyone that I'm using a hair system. Is it possible? Is it morally okay to do this? Can I do this for 5 years without getting exposed? And please don't just say, just tell everyone, bro, because I'm pretty sure I'll be on the spotlight forever if I tell people I don't want to deal with this. I don't care about being honest about this. Here's the short answer for you. Yes, it's possible to hide it from everybody. Should you do it? It doesn't matter. Do whatever you feel you need to do, what's best for you. Screw everybody else. Can you do it for 5 years without getting exposed? I don't see why not. If you're good about, you know, managing your hair system, if you're smart, shouldn't be that difficult. Should just be able to go out there and do the work. It shouldn't be that difficult. You know, I would say if you're living with a person, I mean like literally a partner, you're in a relationship, I would say eventually they're probably going to maybe find out. But I also know people that have gone for 15 years with hair systems, and their partner apparently, and I say apparently because they say this, but their partner doesn't know. I don't know if they are, that's wishful thinking there. But I do think at some point, right, like if you're gonna have a romantic partner, man or woman, that it just makes sense to tell them, be like, hey, this is just a thing. Not a big deal, but at that way, you know, you're not constantly thinking about it, worrying about it, any of that kind of stuff. Wouldn't be fun to me over the long run. So I that's my personal preference. But you know, if you need to go for 5 years with a hair system, just freaking do it. You're gonna be fine. Stop worrying about it. All right, guys, so that's it for today. We just wanted to do a short one, kind of go over some of the questions that have been posted in the past month or two inside of the Hair System Reddit, so that way we can get a little bit more up to date. As I said, I'm making 2 videos a week now, so you can expect those coming out on a regular, consistent basis. It is good to be back. It is good to be here. So happy to see you all, and we'll talk soon.